This will be fun.
Good Monday morning, everyone. Oh, okay. We have so much to dive into. I feel like it's been ages, even though it really hasn't. But you guys are listening to Author Talk with me. Amy Russell is with me today. Valerie is currently working, and our lovely author guest today is Mary. So you guys, let's dive into the weekend. I'm going to give you a pretty big recap because there has been some things that after we go live, I'm like, oh crap, I should have talked about this.
Amy,
so I'm just going to recap.
We can see behind you what your weekend was.
Well, and there was a cattail. I just saw a cattail that moved.
Yes,
that's kind of a theme of the show.
I know. My cat is sitting here. She's dying for affection, I guess. Josh isn't giving her any. But you guys listen, in a whole whirlwind of craziness. You guys all know I went to Sedona for a week for my 10-year wedding anniversary with Josh, and I came back. I actually forgot to mention that I went to the chapel in the hill, which was a beautiful, if you don't know what it is, it's a beautiful Catholic church built into one of the hills of the rock. It's beautiful. So we got to go there. Josh has never been to a Catholic church, so it was really special to take him to that one. And I got a necklace, and the girls got some things for that. But you guys, listen, 4th of July over here, I was doing good to know my name. And it's not because I was drunker than Cooter Brown. I was sober as a jaybird, okay? But this year, you guys, we decided to do Meadow's birthday on the 4th of July. And I didn't mention it because we were still in the whirlwinds of planning when all of our shows happened. So we did her birthday on the 4th of July, hence my beautiful arch here that I refused to take down because it took 2.5 hours for me and my mom and my dad to do. So I refused to take it down. So we had a 4th of July / birthday party for Meadow, who turned 7 on the 8th. I cannot believe you guys. She's starting 2nd grade. I don't know what I'm going to do with myself when school starts. But anyway, so we had fireworks in the evening, a giant water slide all week and weekend, and water balloon fights. So there's water balloons all over my backyard. The fight, the double water slide, adults on one side, kid on the other. It was just a whirlwind of things. And then I had recovery mode, which was all last week, which is why on the show last week, if I seemed tired, I was, you guys. I was surviving my weekend and getting through it. I'm back in action this week. I'm feeling pretty good about everything besides my cat harassing me. But you guys, it's been just a crazy, crazy time over here, but a fun time. And I can just hear Russell saying, oh my goodness, you did a 4th of July party.
I've never in my life said, oh my goodness.
I know, but I wasn't going to say what you actually said. I know, but I wasn't going to say what you actually said.
Grandma might say, oh my goodness.
She would just been like, what the hell were you thinking doing a 4th of July party?
No, I actually totally get it. What you're doing, you're compacting a lot of trouble into a small space. So you're getting rid of projects and you're making them way better all at the same time.
Well, no, it happened on a Saturday, so our families could come and we could celebrate actually a holiday with both of our families and Meadows parties.
Totally
it was in the middle of the week. But Russell, I have a hot tub update for you. Do you want to know my hot tub update? We haven't done one in a long time.
I don't know. Do I? Is there something you can say?
Yes, I can, because Josh has finally gotten over the fact that I bought this hot tub. Remember, he does everything in stages. You guys, I bought this hot tub.
Barry, this was an unauthorized purchase, major purchase. Great. Not only did she buy it, but she buy it with the intent to force her husband to get his butt to work to fix it the way she wants it.
No, that's not true.
It's totally true.
Different sides to the story.
Sale. No, I get a little bit happy on estate sales, and then I'm like, oh, I've got to win. And then I'm like, oh, crap, someone outbid me, and they never do. So anyways, I won this whole thing. Russell knows the story. So it sat in my garage for a good 6 months before he would even hook it up.
Because he didn't want to go, and he didn't want to go.
and then we had to get a new screen for it, but then everything worked, okay, because I had the outlet in my garage, but of course I can't stay in my garage. So then 6 months later, he decided that he was ready to move it. So he moved it, and it's been on my back patio for a couple of months. And
it belongs.
Yes, now it's in the spot that it belongs. And so now I actually have an electrician coming out on Wednesday to hook her up. And then she's going to be in full, operability.
Nice.
So I am super excited.
And in 3 months, it'll be cool enough to use.
No, I'm going to use it. I'm going to use it anyways. Do not tempt me.
It is summer.
This is the hill that I will die on, okay? When it's hooked up, I'm using it.
In 3 months, it'll be cool enough to use.
I think you should move that hot tub here to where it snows in the winter. It's really nice to have hot tubs here.
No, I'm not a snow
So is this the cold dip hot tub thing, or we're going to do the both? Because that's like a serious health thing.
Yeah, so I'm going to move my cold plunge. So where it's located currently in my garage is too far away from the door, so I'm
your garage
motivated.
Is a dump yard.
It currently is. This is a very true statement. And Russell hasn't even been to my house to say that statement. But it's accurate. So I'm going to move that closer to my door so I'm more motivated like it was at our other house. And then from there, I can kind of go back and forth for it, which is the whole goal of it. Eventually, we both would like to have a vertical cold plunge, which is like the ones, like in the ground.
You don't have a vertical one now?
No, we've converted a chest freezer into one. Josh converted it. And
I would not have the discipline to do a vertical cold plunge. You have to be disciplined to do that.
I feel like it'd be easier though, because you can just count to 3 and there's no backseats, you just do it. Where like when you gotta like step into it, and you're like, I just gotta sit, I feel like it's harder to do that than to just dive in. Because then you can kind of chill out.
Yeah, you can't think about it. You just have
to
do
Mary.
It.
You can't think about it. If you think about it, you realize how stupid you are for doing it. You have to not think.
It's fabulous to do. I do enjoy it. I need to clean out my cold plunge, put new water in it and get the chemicals going. But I'm going to do that when I move it. So then everything is all set up, which I'm hoping to do this weekend if it's not hot or rainy. Because Russell, I don't know if you're getting rain every day. I sure as hell am not, but I'm getting the humidity every day up here. I wish it would rain. So I'm just throwing that out there. But what all did you guys do this weekend? I kind of give you my like whirlwind chaoticness that's been going on. So what all did you do? Russell, what did you do?
I went on a cruise.
Oh, that's right. How was that?
It was we took this cruise completely different. We never got off the ship.
Okay.
We just went to the spa. We did the spa thing. So we were at the spa all day.
Nice.
So I was either in the gym or at the spa or having a cigar. We actually did nothing. It was great.
Is there a cigar lounge on one of them?
No.
Oh, okay. Just on your patio?
No, that's illegal, but they have a couple of places.
Oh, well, okay. It's been a minute since I've been on a cruise ship, but that sounds like a fun one. You just kind of went and like relaxed without having to like do all of the tourist things.
Right, because my wife is, my wife broke a bone in her shoulder, Mary. She had to have surgery, so this was like her getaway rest.
Yeah, nice recovery.
And that's why we did the spa thing. It turned out to be spectacular. She actually had them do her hair or something every day. It was it was a very self-indulgent week for her and for me too. It was excellent.
I love
it. So I did nothing. What'd you do, Mary?
I did a painting for the first time in about a year because I worked on
a week.
In a year, because this weekend I painted.
But when did you start and when did you finish?
Well, I've been painting for 30 years, but
I mean this painting.
This painting, yeah. So it took. Usually, what I do is I do the rough sketch, and then I apply the watercolor. And with watercolor, you have to kind of wait before you go back in.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so it took me about 5 hours, kind of back and forth.
That's about right. Van Gogh used to spend his 6 months in the insane asylum. He got to a point where he would do one a day, about 5 hours, about 6 hours.
Yeah.
And that was his greatest paintings that he did his whole life were the 5-hour paintings every day in the insane asylum.
And
the greatest stuff he ever did.
I know that area I've been to 3 times. It's a beautiful, beautiful sanitarium in the south of France, just
Yeah.
outside of Saint Remy. And
Yes,
you
I've been there too. So,
have
well, we
you?
have something in Of course I have. It's
Yeah,
Van Gogh.
isn't that a great place? I mean, I thought, well, I could have a little vacation there, you know?
Yeah, they could just turn the key.
Well, just let me paint. Just feed me and
Amy,
let
it's
me
an
paint.
insane asylum. I'm saying they're going to lock her
I know.
up.
I mean, I get it, but I'm over here like, holy crap, Van Gogh's in an insane. I don't know anything about art, though, to be fair. So I'm like a fish out of water for this
Yes.
conversation.
His greatest paintings, in my opinion, were
Yeah.
Yeah,
while he was
yeah,
these look. He would do these paintings, and actually, Mary? Do you know the background of that? They actually
yeah.
the what was it the groundskeeper or whatever it was that was in charge there actually was this progressive that believed that it was healthy for Van Gogh to paint. It was healthy for his mental
Right. His
being, and
psychiatrist.
so
Yeah,
he actually supported it and encouraged it.
yeah.
And uh and the greatest paintings Van Gogh painted were were during that time, I think.
Well, he was being taken care of, so he didn't
Yeah,
have, he had a safe place. He was being well fed, and so he was being nurtured. So he had the time to focus on his artwork. And
yeah.
it's yeah, I mean that's any artist would love to be taken care of so they can just paint. That's really that's what I'm passionate about. But I love Van Gogh's work. But I also, with a psychology degree, I appreciate what he was struggling, with too, because his father was a very religious preacher and wasn't accepting of Van Gogh's kind of more outlandish choices. Like he lived with a prostitute for a while who was
I
his.
don't know hardly any father that would accept that sort of thing, whether
Well,
they were religious or not.
yeah, yeah, true, maybe, I don't know. Yeah, but I think that because he was doing a lot of absinthe, which was not good for his brain, and he
It's not
wasn't.
good for anybody. Have you ever tasted it, Mary?
I did a long time ago in my youth. I did, and it's sort of a licorice kind of a taste.
Yeah.
Have you?
How do people drink that crap?
I don't
It was
know.
terrible.
I know. I know. It was not my thing. I don't know.
Amy, have you tasted it?
No.
Absinthe? No.
No.
I mean,
You guys are just funny. It's making me think of that movie Euro Trip when they're both on, like they're drinking that or whatever. And they're like in this club and having like this crazy thing. That's why I'm laughing because you guys are talking about it. That's the scene that's playing in my head.
it's awful.
Yeah. But
I mean, I
it
don't.
must have given him a certain high that he really liked. I mean, I've never really liked things like that, like heavy licorice taste, but it was a thing that they did. It was like a trend. Like there's a lot of things now that I won't talk about that are trending that I wouldn't choose. I mean, I wouldn't personally choose Botox, for instance, because I don't like needles. I don't want that stuff in my body.
Fair.
Just say
fair.
it.
Yeah.
No.
I get it. I get it.
We don't know what that stuff's going to do when we over time.
Yeah, we know it's going to move around. We do
Well,
know, right?
Well, it's evidently not. Anyway, that's a whole other conversation.
I know. Which I would like to get on to. What
kidding.
else is currently going on that you wouldn't do is what I want to know.
Well, hold on. Russell has to give his spiel, her whole like speech thing
I
before we
know.
dive in more. Yeah.
So
About the
we
book that I wrote.
No, hold on. Go,
but
Russell.
we'll get to that. But first, we got to thank people for listening to us.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Yes, we're
Oh,
talking 10% in some podcast channels. And thank you, Amy, for reminding me. I was so into picking on Mary
know.
about questions, and she was like opening the door
I saved
for
you, Mary.
more questions. I was like, okay, let's go through here and pick on her about that. And we're top 1% on some other podcast channels. And we want to thank you so much. We are very humbled because we are just who we represent us.
I can tell. I can tell, Russell. You are.
Yes. Thank you, Mary. And thank you for just
Well,
helping us on this.
So you guys, you can go over to anywhere that you can find a podcast, Amazon, Spotify, Apple, Google Play. You can go over to any one of them and find Author Talk in the Crimson, Red, and Gold. You can subscribe. You can follow us. If you want to watch us live in time, laugh with or at us, because generally we're laughing with or at each other.
Like Mary's laughing at us right now and with us.
You can go over to our YouTube channel. You can subscribe and follow us over there and comment. You can go over to any one of our social media platforms, our Facebook group, and you can follow the conversation along with us. We're live every Monday at 10 a.m. Central Time. So feel free to go and do all of those. But I'm going to let Russell continue to pick on Mary in just a minute. But Mary, I want you to tell us to tell us really quick a little bit about your book, Behind the Painting, an Artist's Memoir, before we let Russell just run rampant with artists and all his background that he wants to share.
I got to talk about this painting behind me too.
Okay. So well, thank you, Amy, for inviting me on. It's been really fun to listen to your podcast so that I could get a feeling for how you were going to. Well, Russell was going
attack
to
you.
Yeah, but it's cute. It comes across as playful and fun, and
it's only meant that way.
I love that you keep it real. You too.
Thank you.
It's nice, and So I went through a lot of big life challenges, like divorce and cancer, and a stroke, and those challenges taught me to reach out to my community for help, because you can't get through those things alone. And I've lost, and I also have adventures in my book, like Passion in Paris. And I've done a lot of traveling in southern France and a lot of painting, but I've been an art teacher and a professional artist for 30 years and also a freelance writer. So I put the two together in this book, and it's 10 stories, 10 paintings, the story behind each one, over 30 years of my life. And so it's all kind of come together. And so I called it Behind the Painting, an Artist's Memoir. And it's been quite an interesting journey, because I worked with a London publisher, and their time frame is quite early compared to mine. So it's a lot of getting up early and interfacing with the senior editor, but it's been fun. And then I got to go to London and the Cotswolds in Northern Wales after I launched the book in May, and experience all the incredible gardens, the English gardens in the Cotswolds. And so now I'm back home, and I'm doing book signings and podcasts like this. So that's been my trajectory since I started working on this book about a year ago.
Nice. A year is a good timeline. I'm glad that, I feel like the paintings were just a collection kind of throughout your 30 years, and then the stories together. But putting the two together, I think, is just, Russell's going to probably carry away with this. So I have to get my comments in now before he runs rampant. But I think it's a creative way of combining the two loves that you have, right? Because you said that you were a freelance writer and you were a professional painter. So combining the two together to kind of give your take on an interesting memoir, I feel like, because a memoir generally kind of dives in deeper behind it, but taking 10 paintings and 10 kind of pivotal moments in your life and having the paintings represent and the story kind of behind those, I think is a creative spin on a memoir. So I am fascinated by it. I haven't encountered a memoir as creative as that. So I can see why London picked it up. It seems right up their alley. But I know Russell's dying to talk about this painting and dive in more to your painting style.
Yeah, Mary was about to say something in response to you.
Well, I wanted to just mention that the first time, but this is a poppy. This is just part of the poppy painting. The first time that I ever realized that my art, this is probably after 12 years of being a professional artist, a painting that I did, this poppy, had a bunch of irises in the background. And I was getting ready for a one-woman show, and I kept looking at the painting, it's big, and going, no, those irises don't belong in that background. This needs to be just about one flower. So I knocked out all the iris in the background with a hog hair brush and a really dark blue that looks like black almost when you use it right out of the tube, which you can do with watercolor. Watercolor doesn't always have to be light. And then I went through a really tough divorce, and I sold the painting to a woman who bought it to honor a friend of hers who had gone through a divorce and then had driven herself off a cliff because the divorce was that difficult for her.
Yeah.
And so the woman who bought the poppy to honor her friend who was passionate, I ended up giving them, she and her husband, art lessons. So as I was navigating the divorce, I saw the poppy in their home, and I didn't feel strong at all because it was a really tough divorce. And we had a 16-year-old daughter and at the time. And he had an affair with one of my best friends. So there was a lot of betrayal as well. But I saw this painting, this poppy painting, and I thought, wow, that is one strong painting. Did I do that? Do I have that strength? And the poppy said, yeah, you did paint this, and you knocked out those iris in the background. So you're going to be on your own now, but it's okay. You're going to be fine. You can do this. So that was the first of those 10 paintings where my art that came from within me circled back a sense of strength that I needed right then. Yeah. And so, I mean, how would I know when I'm painting this that a woman would buy it, who would buy it because her friend who was passionate had gone through a divorce and driven herself off a cliff? Do you know what I mean? See, it's like the art foreshadows in some ways what is to come. And I didn't catch on to it until the poppy. And then it started happening again and again and again. And so that's what each of those paintings has a story kind of like that, where and a lot of artists do paintings to go over people's davenports, or they paint because they think, oh, if I do a series of fish, people who are into fishing will buy the fish, the fish painting. But for me, I think because I have a degree in psychology and I've been a counselor, I think that soul of my soul basically is in that work. I paint from my heart and soul, and so it's a different kind of painting because then it comes back.
It's like a sense of healing in a sense, like you can remember what you were going through, but then how you kind of came out on the other side. And the painting is, in a sense, like a representation of that, but it also represents healing. I think for you, I think in multiple stages. It kind of like for me, right? The sense of healing for me is not art, it's puppies. I don't know why, but Josh goes out of town and I get another dog. Like, that's like my sense of thing. I didn't get another dog. No, I just have Bruno. But the story behind me getting Bruno, I waited 2 years. I had lost my dog that I'd had for 13 years. And I waited 2 years, and Josh never said anything. Josh is my husband, Mary, about getting another dog. And he went out of town, and my mom was in town, and I went and got another dog. So, it's just kind of like a healing thing. And I still have my dog, Hercules was his name. His little applehead chihuahua named Hercules. But up there with his photo and his baby, and he's in my office, and I love him dearly. So I think it's just kind of like how you're painting. When you saw it, you're like, oh man, like I did that. And it was kind of like coming like, yeah, you did. And like, you're really great at this. And this is where like what it kind of came from and how you've overcome that. It's kind of the same thing in a sense. Like that dog was with me through so many different things, and I can remember that and appreciate it. And it's always going to kind of stick with me. So I think it's just like it sounds like a sense of healing and like progression and sense of like moving forward.
And as an artist or a musician, any kind of art, it's coming from within. So you're putting it out there. And then in this case, it was letting me know in response, yeah, that's who you are. So you're getting it from the inside out, and then it's basically letting you know who you are. Like, why do you choose pink over purple? Or, why would Russ want to do this versus that? I mean, that tells you who you are. It's a process of learning more and more about who you are.
Yeah.
I'm like, you like puppies. I don't, because they're a lot of work. and so I would rather paint than be with a puppy. So
yeah,
right? We're all different. And that's the beauty though, is we're all unique. That's the beauty
Yeah.
of it, I think. Yeah. We're all different.
love
Russell's silent. I can't believe it. He's
No, he's just
Well,
waiting.
Mary, because I'm a cynic.
Yeah.
And I actually don't believe we're all different. I think most people are the same. I just think that there are exceptions to the rule.
Oh no.
It's awful being a cynic, Mary.
Well,
It's an awful thing.
I was the
But I
admission.
am. It made me a good divorce lawyer, though.
It did.
Oh, okay.
I could
Okay.
see that. I could see it
Yeah.
making it. But
Mhm.
Russell, what was your comment about the painting behind you? One, I don't know anything about your painting behind you. But two, I feel like it ties into the path that Mary was talking about in terms of painting. So talk to us about the one behind you.
Well, we were talking about paintings. This one behind me is one of my favorite that it's a cubist that I actually bought uh, in little antique store in Atlanta, Georgia, that uh, I don't really think they knew what they had when I walked up on it. It is entitled Woman. It's very much like one of Picasso's women from his
Right.
Cubist days. And I just love it. And it was $500. The artist was giving it away just to sell it, basically.
It looks
And I
like an
love
angel.
it.
It reminds me of an angel. It feels a little bit like angelic. Yeah. Everyone
Well,
see.
it's very interpretive. It
Yep.
could be just the opposite after you look at it a little bit.
Well, it's going
It's a
to
beautiful
everyone.
cubism,
Yeah,
right?
and everyone's going to see something different because you're bringing yourself to the art. Yeah. And I was the admissions director in a private psychiatric hospital for 5 years. And I will tell you that we are all basically the same in some ways, but we're all very different in terms of our choices and how we navigate through life. So yeah, that's my background.
I think that is very interesting that you're an artist that has a 5-year background about that. How do you think that affected your choice of painting?
Well, I was working for HCA. Are you familiar with Hospital Corporation of America? It's in Nashville.
Actually, I am. I used to file suit against people on behalf of them.
Yeah, well, that
Believe
makes
it or
sense.
not.
Yeah, no, that makes
Amy's like, what? I did. That company used to hire me to file suit against people who didn't take care of their business.
Right.
Oh,
So
a little person just entered.
That's why my eyebrows went up, Russell. But I mean, it was perfect timing with what you said, but it was literally like everyone in my freaking house decided to come right here and stare at me.
Well, so I worked for HCA and then I was a product manager for them at a corporate level in Nashville, Tennessee. So I got a taste of living in the South, having been a fifth generation,
well,
Oregon.
Nashville's really not the South.
I know
Nashville is an
that's what
urban
people.
center within the South. Like
Okay.
Nashville, Houston, Atlanta, they're not really the South. They're
Okay.
like islands in the South,
All right. All right. Well,
right?
that's what I had people tell me, is that it's not really the South. It's felt like the South to me coming from the West Coast. So it's all kind of
Right.
relative, right? Yeah. And after I worked in that corporate environment, which was very stressful, I worked for Dr. Frisk Senior directly and developed a product called Seniority for the 55 plus market.
Yeah, I bet that was stressful.
It was. And I always wanted to be an artist, but in my family, it was more academic. My older sister had her PhD in economics and she was a professor.
Oh, where did she get her economics degree?
She got it here at U of O, but then she was a professor in Berkeley.
Okay, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. So the academic family that I came from, art wasn't encouraged. It wasn't.
Which surprises me, Mary, because within some academic worlds, art is like a big part of their lives. It's a big part of my life, and I was a lawyer.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I know. But I think parents are concerned that you're not going to be able to take care of yourself.
Exactly.
And so art, you're not going to make money with art. So
right, you're not.
don't go there. So just have it be a hobby, right? I made money as a teacher, as an art teacher, because you never know when a painting's going to sell. You could sell 3 this month and not sell any for 4 more months, right? But I love teaching art. That's where I was able to support myself as an artist. But that's why I think for me, putting this book together with my art and the stories was so important, because there's a psychology in each story about how we get to choose whether we have a good attitude about this tough things we go through, or we just feel like a victim. And I had a stroke right after I turned 70. And then 5 days later, they discovered I had cancer. So it was a real heavy, boom, boom. And cancer treatment, chemotherapy, is really hard on your body. I mean, I think, in several years, they'll discover that, oh my God, they were doing what? They were putting poisons in your body that was killing everything. How could they do that? Like they used leeches back in the day, to on patients. They'll discover them and hopefully prevent cancer, because there are a lot of toxins and things that we now know don't help our bodies, that are hurting our bodies. But I got through one of the toughest chemotherapy radiation treatments every single day for 6 weeks. They radiated me and they gave me 2 incredibly strong chemo drugs. And when they wanted to give me another dose of chemotherapy, this mitomycin C at week 5, I said, no, I am not a number. I am a person who knows her body well enough to know that will push me over the edge. And so they said, well, we can't tie you down. We can't force you. And I said, that's right. And I'll sign anything you want me to sign, saying whatever happens to me, you're not responsible. And I'm so glad I stood up and said, don't do that, because I lost 4 friends during that time who couldn't take the chemo drugs. They couldn't, their bodies just couldn't do it, especially as you get older. But even young people, they're just really so tough on your body. So I think, having gone through that, I wanted to encourage people with this book to say, you can get through any tough things that come your way, but you got to reach out for help. And that's what I did. I had sort of a spirit. I reached up spiritually, asked everyone I knew across the country for prayer, and reached out horizontally in my community for support and help. And always before that, I was so independent, I didn't need anybody's help. But boy, when cancer arrived at my door, I needed it. Yeah. So
yeah. So yeah. What, if you don't mind me asking, you don't have to answer it, but what type of cancer did you have?
So my medical oncologist, who had a great sense of humor, which humor was a big piece of getting through this too.
Right.
He called it tailpipe cancer. And I was like, yeah, and then no pink ribbons, no pretty pink ribbons for my type of cancer. And Farrah Fawcett, do you remember her? She had the same kind of cancer, and it's very rare. It's like half of 1%.
Yeah.
And it's brought on by an the HPV virus, which younger people can get, vaccines for now. Yeah. And those are the rough chapters in the book. The fun chapter at the end is finding love late in life. I was 68 when I met my partner, who of 9 years, who just turned 80, and he's still water skiing. He's still
nice. Good for him.
That's impressive. Tell me about that.
I love it.
He's 80 years old and he water skis.
He's competitively water skiing. He's like second.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Second in the country in trick water skiing with a boat.
So he's a badass. That's what
he's a badass.
He's 80 years old and he's a badass.
Yeah, he's really got such a great, positive, disciplined attitude about things. And he's out there competing. He just competed this weekend and did great. So that's, and also I have a wonderful adventure in Paris in chapter 5. So the book isn't just all the tough things. It's also the highs of life as well.
Right. So what was it like? I mean, I can imagine, but if you decided to write this, you said you wrote it and published it in a year with your London publisher. And so when you were going through and writing it, what kind of process did you use to pick out the 10 paintings and stories that you were going to include in your memoir? Because I feel like there's so many that you could include. So what kind of process did you use to narrow it down to the 10 that you decided?
I picked the 10 paintings that were instrumental in different challenges. So, for instance, after my older sister was in intense back pain, and a series of events happened to her that I talk about in the book, and she took her life. And so I don't like to say commit suicide because that sounds like it's a crime, and I think it used to be back in the day. But yeah, but she was done. She was 68 years old, and she was in an enormous pain. She wasn't sleeping. She was being put on one antidepressant after another that weren't really working, and they weren't giving the antidepressant time to really adjust to her body. So she jumped off the Ross Island Bridge. I'm afraid of heights. I mean, the Ross Island Bridge is 123 feet high in Portland. It's a bridge in Portland. But she was determined. She was done. And so right after that, I went to Ireland, and I was painting in Ireland. And this bird, it looks like a robin, landed on a wall right next to me. And I turned to look at it, and it just sat there and looked at me. And I looked out and was painting this wonderful little cottage with red geraniums. And the birds just settled in and started watching me as I was painting. It was the weirdest thing. It wasn't frightened or nervous. You know how some birds are just like, they're really quick to fly off. Yeah. And so then I photographed the bird, and it just sat there. It must have been like, I don't know, 45 minutes. It wasn't hurting or anything. It was just watching me. Yeah. And then when I came home, I took that photograph and I painted the bird, just that single bird. And it started feeling like Betty's spirit in that bird. And my older sister, Jan, the economist, who's really not a spiritual person, she even saw the bird and she said, that kind of feels like Betty's spirit. And I have that painting in my home. I didn't try and sell it because it's a comfort to me. It's like my sister's spirit is here with me in that, in the form of that bird. So that's in chapter 6 because that's about comfort. The poppy painting is about strength. The cruciform series, the abstract series, has a horizontal and a vertical bridge. So it keeps that abstract structure together where there's a focal point where those two cross. Okay. So it's a lot of abstract paintings, you're not quite sure where to look. In an abstract painting with a cruciform, where there just means a horizontal and a vertical, your focal point is going to be right where those two cross. And so when I was sitting in the infusion room, in the cancer infusion room, it's this massive room looking out on the mountains here, which always have some snow on them. They're beautiful. Three Sisters Mountains. And there were these vertical poles with cancer drugs being infused into people's ports and in their PICC lines. And I was in the back of the room. And I looked out and I saw those horizontal mountains and these massive, beautiful windows and those vertical poles with those lines. And there was that cruciform. It's a form, it's a design form. And in between those two, I felt held. I felt supported. Mary, you're going to get through this. You're going to make it through. Even though you feel like throwing up, you have mouth sores, your hair. I had, my girlfriend had to shave my head, and I was bald, which is not fun. As a woman, to lose your hair. I mean, I don't know, men, I guess, you're more.
It's not that fun for me either.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. so I needed to hold on to something, and so there it was. There was that form, and those paintings, my abstract series that are in the back of the book, those came before cancer. And so when I had cancer, I would see those abstract paintings that I did, and I would be reminded, reach out to your community, reach up for some kind of, support, however spiritually you are aligned, whatever you believe, as long as you don't think that you're God, I think we're okay. And it got me through. It got me through. And I had a big launch party here in my house on May 7th, and there were about 55 people in my home, and all people who, physical therapists, the oncologists, the people who did my pedicures, to help me feel like I can have pretty toes even if my hair's gone,
Right? Yes.
They all came, and it was just so great to have. And my daughter was a character voice actor. So in chapter 7, I had a voice coach because I did an audiobook as well. And when the voice coach and I got to chapter 7, it's a short story about Harry and Harvey, who are my adrenal glands, because my adrenal glands were starting to get tired. So the voice coach and I looked at each other, and we were like, what do adrenal glands even sound like? Right? I mean,
yeah.
So I called my daughter, character voice actor, and I said, can you voice chapter 7? She says, oh, sure. I know how to do that. So you'll like this. She gave them a little bit of a Southern twang, kind of a Southern twang, and they're fun. They're fun. And so we voiced the book together, my daughter and I. And that's also available.
I love that. Well, I know before we got on that you had a paragraph or an excerpt from your book that you wanted to read. I would love to hear it. I know Russell would love to hear it before you guys dive more into painting, because you guys remind me a lot of Josh, and Josh hates taking me into art galleries and stuff. Like when we were in Sedona, he wanted to go to this art gallery. I'm not very fun in those. I'm not going to lie to you, because art, I don't mean this in a negative way. It just doesn't speak to me the same way. But to him, he's like, man, I mean, this is beautiful. And like, look, this was painted here, and we could put lights behind it. And it just totally magnifies it. And he sees the beauty, and they're beautiful paintings. They are beautiful paintings. They just don't, I can't sit and stare at them all day. Like, I feel like you and Russell couldn't interpret something different. I would just, to me, it's a painting, And so I'm no fun to go with to art shows or galleries. I have to stay outside. Like in Sedona, it was too hot for me to stay outside, but generally I'm asked to stay outside.
So the next time your husband wants to go to Sedona, tell him he should take me, not you.
I will.
I'll be way more fun.
I know. You'll go mountain biking with him.
Plus, I'll go mountain biking. Yeah. We'll go up in the hills. We'll stay up late and drink. He'll just have a lot more fun with me. You're not going to get elevation
sickness like I did. It was just terrible. But no, Mary, read from your book.
I'm thinking it'd be fun to paint with Russell. I'd kind of like to get some paints and some good brushes and just throw some paint around with Russell, because I think you've got that in you. Have you ever tried painting?
I was trained when I was young, but then I decided I was too poor to do that, and I was desperate to get out of my situation, so I went to law school instead.
Yeah, I hear that a lot. Yeah, who else are really good students are dentists. Because you think about the fine motor skills that dentists have.
Yeah, well, I don't want to even talk about dentists.
Okay, let's not talk about
just dentists. Exclude them. I'm an anti-dentite.
Okay, I don't even want to see one. Right, okay.
Yes, I'm an anti-dentite.
Okay, we're an okay, Russell, I get it. I'm talking about when they're painting, not in their dental office, but when they're painting, they're really good artists typically. I've had many dentists who become art students because I've been teaching for 30 years, children in elementary school.
And then we all get evil ones. Yes, I was a criminal lawyer. I had those bad people too.
Oh, Oh, yeah, of course, of course. Well, yeah, they're out there, aren't they?
Yeah, you
I
had
know.
dentists, I had criminals. You're the
Which I do
same.
want to, bring that up right now is that since I've launched this book and I have, you know, I'm out there. AI is very clever, of course, and they are impersonating all kinds of different solicitors, whether it's like Boston um, uh, uh, Library or another book publisher or whatever. So I'm getting a lot of AI solicitations. So what I'm doing in order to find out whether they're real or not is I'm using AI to bust the phony, AI,
Okay, we
yeah,
need to have a whole different
yeah,
show
yeah.
on the uses of AI
We could go
because
on this for 45
because
minutes about it.
we could, boy,
Yeah.
you just opened a whole
I
can of
know, I
worms I
know.
want to
I
talk
do.
about, but we
Yeah,
need to
yeah.
stop
Well,
because we're out of time.
are we out of time?
You can read from your book. I can take Russell's evil eye. It's fine. You're
Okay.
good.
So I'm just going to read this spirit. I know we can have fun. We are having fun. I'm just going to read this one scene because this will give you a taste. Okay. So I'm in Albi, southern France. I spent a lot of time in southern France, Saint-Remy, and all.
I've been there.
Yeah, we talked about that. Painting after my divorce. It's how I kind of found my sense of self again after the horrible divorce. It was a nice way to do that, going to southern France. So here I am. I'm in southern France and I'm painting. Okay, and I'm in Albi, where Toulouse-Lautrec's largest collection of work is housed in a beautiful, beautiful castle, and I'm sitting. And this is what happens. I'm sitting out on a deck overlooking the Tarn River. I don't know how long I'd been drawing the curves of the bridge when I saw him. Time slipped away when my right brain was happily engaged. He was about 10 feet in front of me, leaning over the edge of the balcony, looking at the river. I saw his stomach first, protruding like a 3/4 moon. Then my gaze moved up to the long, fat cigar jutting straight from his lips. His head was bald and shiny, as though he had just shaved any last hairs. The three shapes compelled me. His round, bald head mirroring the round curve of his stomach, and the horizontal cigar creating a straight shape in between. He didn't see me at first, since I was tucked into the shadows, so I had time to quickly sketch a contour of those three shapes with the curves of the bridge behind him. Then he turned and noticed me. He pointed his right finger at his large chest and then out to the bridge behind him, as if to ask what I was looking at, the bridge or at him. When I pointed to him and moved my pencil, he puffed on his cigar, creating a circle of smoke above him. Then he strutted toward me with smoke wafting behind and stood over my sketch. At closer range, I began to explore the details of his face. I attempted to explain my intent to continue sketching him, but soon discovered he only spoke Spanish. I spoke very little Spanish, a little more French, and then I mixed those two together with English when I was nervous. Our communication was a barrier, but he liked the attention I was giving him, and I liked the challenge of capturing his shapes on paper. So we moved inside to the hotel bar.
Nice. I love that because I can visualize the whole thing. Like
good.
Yeah. And you're great at your audiobook has to sound fantastic because that was very. I listen to a lot of audiobooks. That's my jam.
Yes, and she doesn't have a southern accent, which is important for audiobooks, in my opinion.
Amy, you don't, Amy. You don't.
Oh yeah, she does. She has.
Yeah.
And she's developing a Texas hick accent because of her unfortunate residence.
I sure do. You go up yonder and around the bend. Yeah, to the north.
When I was in Nashville, they'd say things like, well, bless his thumping gizzard. What was it?
That's a different part of it. That's the
Yeah,
South. That's not Texas.
That's
Okay.
different. Yeah, because I'm more in East Texas is where I'm at. So I'm an hour and a half north of Houston. But I
Okay.
was born and raised in San Antonio, which is like southern, like south central Texas. But yes, living over here because I mean, you just bless your heart. Oh, you just didn't understand that. Yes,
Amy, please
it comes
stop
out.
doing that.
It comes out for sure. Russell really loves it. But oh my gosh, Mary, please tell everybody where they can go and get your book and your audiobook and the name of your book one more time.
So it's the title of the book is Behind the Painting, an artist's memoir. It's on Amazon. The ebook and the audiobook are both on Amazon. So at this point, they're in independent bookstores where I'm doing book signings.
Nice.
As well, but the main place is Amazon. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good for you. That's the best place to be for sure as an author, in my opinion. But Mary, yes, I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your day and getting up early to come and hang out with us and chat with me and Russell. This has been a fun conversation and a very creative memoir. So thank you so much for sharing that with us and reading from your book and just kind of giving us a little sense inside of what kind of went on in making this book. So thanks for spending time with us this morning.
Yeah, thank you, Amy and Russell. And you weren't too hard on me.
He was nice.
Well, that's
today.
because Amy kept the leash tight.
He was nice today. But you guys, we hope that you all have a fantastic Monday, a great rest of your week. And until next Monday, everybody, bye for now.